Of course, it's very tight in the frame, but it does come up similar to what it did on my screen at home. It's the quality is not quite there. It's I suspect with all this mud flying around, it's difficult. But you know, you're looking for something that would be sharp. There's nothing that's really as sharp as I would like it anyway. It's got a lot going on in terms that, you know, you've got the main one and you got this one at the back. So the timing of the shot could perhaps help if it got a little separation, but I think it just needs a little more room around it. That one got 15.
15. Circle of Fire.
Yeah, good shot. It's an interesting one. It's, I don't know, set up. Obviously, it's whether it's one or two, I don't know, but we've got quite a lot of the evening sky, the Milky Way, and the rest. I just wonder. Look at that. Yeah, there's not a person in sight, so somebody must have lit these flares off and everything. But a pleasant enough shot. You know, it's kind of quite contrasted, the bottom half and the top half, two separate pictures, but it does hang together quite well. So that one I gave 17. So it's kind of one of the better top standard ones.
17. Small Skimmer.
Yeah, good nature shot. Just losing quite a little bit of the wings there, but that's pretty normal. There's enough sharpness in this area. As opposed to a bird on a stick, it's similar. And that's it. And as I say, in terms of content, there are some really strong images with strong content. So this is struggling in terms of that, but it's a competent nature shot and we get 16.
16. Female Marsh Harrier.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, not a lot of action, straightforward portrait of the bird. Lacking a little bit of detail for me, but you know, that's it. What else can I say? It's the bird on a stick, and that's it. So that one got 15.
15. Out of the Shadows.
Yeah, the first kind of portrait tonight, kind of dark and moody. So you're getting a little bit of emotion from it, a little bit of feel, atmosphere from it. You can see the eyes. I don't know, you know, what he's looking at, but there are certain photographers I like the person to look straight down the camera, and then I can see the eyes. Some don't. You know, you take your pick. But it's quite. I like the mood of it. It doesn't really bother me that we're losing, you know, the detail in that area, because this is the main area. Apart from, you know, you got that big chunky shadow. So just be careful with the lighting before you press the shutter, is to make sure that you know, you don't get big black areas like that. But I thought it was a strong enough portrait, and it got 17.
17. Queen's Gambit.
Would you play chess against with that staring at you all the time?
She's scary.
Yeah, it's like threatening you to make your next move or make the right move. I thought it was very strong, but and you know, the quality is excellent. But what did jar me a little was the fact that you got these pieces here. You know, you got the sharp pieces, and then these are kind of, well, out of focus, really. And I just wondered why. To me, you know, the chessboard and the attitude of the girl is great. Just why couldn't we just sharpen those up a bit? So that one got 17.
17. Say a Little Prayer.
Another portrait, similar to the other one, quite attempt to be moody. The background's been well handled. We've got the, you know, the light. Glasses, well, okay, yeah. Now this time he's looking at the photographer, so you do get that kind of connection. I do like the kind of the moodiness of it, so is it as strong as the other one? I don't know. What did I give that one? Yeah, that one got 16.
16. All ears.
Well, all your dog lovers are like this. I'm certainly the owner would. What can you say? It's all action. It's well handled. The eyes are good. I think it's a pretty strong picture, that. And that one got 17.
17. The Falls.
The Falls, yes. Bit of a kind of a dismal day by the looks of things. You know, we got you got a bit of a a lead in like that, and the water's soft. I think the treatment of the water is the right treatment on this. You either do it pin sharp or you do it as a slow shutter speed. But I do find kind of from about here, you got quite a lot of sharpness and strong colours, and then this side, fails into whatever the fence there. And I just wondered whether, if we'd moved the camera and angle slightly this way and got more into the picture to look into the depth of the picture, look into that way, would it have been stronger? I don't know. The photographer's giving it me like that. So what did that give? Oh, the Falls got from the landscape, that got 15.
15. Bearded man.
Oh.
Handsome young chap.
What intrigued me was he dyed his hair for the bottom half. Why dye the beard? Yeah, I mean it's a really strong portrait. Not a lot you can say about it. Well, you could say a lot about him, but I'm not going to. Simple portrait, good angle, good picture. And that one got 17.
17. Shearwater.
Yeah, there's a lot of empty space in this, isn't there? And we're losing just a little bit of detail on the bird, on the shadows. But obviously, it's interesting because there's a shot coming up later of a nature shot of a similar aspect. But I find this one quite weak in terms that there's an awful lot of space that doesn't do anything for the picture, and I'm afraid that one only got 14.
14. Homage to Vermeer.
Are we marking straight through? Are we holding back?
You can hold back as many as you like.
Oh, now he tells me. All right, we'll hold that one back then, and just to make sure we're...
Okay. Eagle off the coast of Mull.
Yeah, pretty big bird, isn't it? It's obviously been ringed, eagling flight. Really, once you've seen it, it's a good record shot of the eagle. There's not much of the background that you can see, but given the fact that we can see a lot of detail on the eagle and it's doing something, it got 16. I think it's not one of the stronger ones, but it's strong enough.
16. Warrior Princess.
Oh dear me, what was that one? Go on, roll that one as well, please.
Okay. A splash of colour.
Yeah, some kind of a technical exercise. I don't know whether you've all tried this or not.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, you know what I'm on about, don't you? To me, it never makes kind of a satisfactory picture. It must be great to do and set up, and you do get this result. But at the end of the day, what is the image telling me? Okay, nothing as far as I'm concerned. I tend to look for, well, let me put it this way. Ansel Adams used to say, I think it was Ansel Adams, there are always two people in every picture. Have you heard that saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
Some of you will have. Well, tell me who they are. Sorry? Yeah, basically the photographer and the viewer, those are the two people in every picture. So there's the viewer, you're trying to see what the photographer is going to do. And to me, okay, you can do it. You've got a technical exercise. But the content of the picture, there's no story, no nothing. So it's just a record of a splash. In this case, I'm afraid that got 13.
13.
Yeah, don't say it like that, Mike.
On the crest.
Yeah, another one with a lot of space around it, but it's an interesting shot, isn't it? And taken, you don't tend to see kind of like kind of a wave and the bird on it. So there's good timing on the photographer. Good to get that. As usual with kind of the white birds, you're losing the detail there, but you always will. It's really hard to get. So whilst I thought that was interesting, again, a lot of negative space. It got it got 15.
15. Rough day.
So you've had today, isn't it?
Certainly have had tonight.
Yeah. The tonal range on this perhaps is not quite as I would like it. There's a lot of, the water down here. And I just wondered whether if we'd have concentrated perhaps on an area that was something within this frame here, where you got that and that, this kind of sticks out at the end. I just wonder whether, there's too much in the picture to get the impact. Certainly the strength of the picture for me is in this area. And a lot of this at the bottom doesn't do anything for me. You don't really need that. You can see the power of the waves there and the water there. So I just wondered whether there's too much in this picture. A little is better, a little is less. So that one got 16. 16. You can pronounce this one.
It's an eye jumper.
Yeah. This actually interesting. There's another shot later on of this eye jumper as well. And both of them are excellent because of this. The expression on the face and the eyes. If you've ever done sports shots, I've done a few of these, trying to get that shot. It's at the peak of the action. It's good. The background is always going to be a problem. What the photographer should have done was to tell him to hold on while these two walked off. But he doesn't do that, does he? So he's timing at the peak of the action. And that, despite the actual high jumper being brilliant and the expression on his face, you've got these, 3 lots of them that really detract from the picture. And it's no fault of the photographer unless you can change your angle. But I think it's a good sports shot, well caught, whatever his name was. And that got 17.
17. Still not going to pronounce it.
No, I'll give you that one, Mike. This
Sentinel.
one, Sentinel, quite a strong, imposing building, taking that on. It actually looked a bit more stronger tonal range on mine. It's quite dark. But then I can see what the author was trying to get. It's quite an imposing structure, and the way he's taken it is quite dynamic. But then, what else am I looking at now? What else is in that picture to hold me in? There's no impact in it. It's strong, I mean, if he'd had somebody hanging out of this window or something like that, but I mean, I'm not being silly, but it's a good record shot, and it's taken so you get this strong, diagonal imposing picture. But then I see nothing else. It doesn't tell me much else. And that one got 14.
14. Eyes on dinner.
An interesting shot, nice and soft. Come with all that one.
Okay. Owl and rabbit.
Not the owl and the pussycat, the owl and the rabbit. Yeah, this poor rabbit's had seen better days, but again, a good nature shot. The background I find, obviously, I don't know whether it's snow or not, but it's obviously quite light. But it doesn't do, it doesn't detract too much. It's a good size in the frame, tells the story. But I'm afraid it doesn't get the best shot for me. Where am I? 16 for that one.
16. St Mary in the Bourne.
Yeah, different one. As I say, we had many subjects tonight. You don't tend to get some of these. This one is an excellent shot to the detail of its genre. It's very good. The thing that perhaps, and it's probably difficult for the photographer to control, is kind of the, there's the burned out window. You've all had a go at taking stained glass windows, and it is difficult, but I'm sure just a little tweak or two on Photoshop to bring them out. And this would have been an excellent shot, really sharp, of its genre. It's very good. So that one I gave, but just knocked the mark off for that. So that was 16.
16. St Anne's versus Preston and South Ribble.
Yeah, good action shot again. Well posed, strong, good tonal range, expression. Tell you what, we'll hold that one back as well.
Chester Canal.
Yeah, quite an evening shot, moody evening shot, very placid. Your eye wanders in, you pick up all the odd bits, and then kind of wanders in, wanders out on that side. There's nothing really in it that strikes me as kind of a central focus point to hold it in. It's just a pleasant evening shot, nice color rendition, but it doesn't have any kind of atmosphere other than perhaps in the evening sun. But you've got all this juxtaposition of different architecture, and it's not kind of, it's a good background, but it's not strong enough, as an imposing some kind of focus on it. So that one, Chester Canal, I got 14.
14. Norway fishing huts.
Yeah, I've always been trying to get to Lofoten for quite a while, but I've not made it yet. The number of times I've judged this kind of picture in exhibitions, it's a classic type shot. First seen about, must have saw the first one about 5 years ago from a Russian photographer, and he had it as a sunset, and that's the classic view. So we'll hold that one back. It's a good landscape shot.
Okay. Mating flesh flies.
As a nature shot, I don't think you can find too much fault with this. We need a bit of what's the word? Can I say sex in this world?
Oh, I don't know. You can try.
You can try, yeah. No, all that one back. It's a strong nature shot.
Okay. Starling.
A starling, or the back of a starling. Yeah, it picked up the kind of translucent colours just a little. I'm not so certain. There's a little bit of exaggeration in the colours, but I'm the starlings that whether it's been enhanced, but it doesn't really matter. The background's been well handled. Fortunately, speaking to the bird got to turn its head. So yeah, competent shot would get 16.
16. Steaming ahead.
Yeah, to me, this is a good black and white shot, but I feel, the timing to me is a little wrong in the fact that you can see the track goes there, the position of the photographer, and we've got a human element there, which adds interest to the picture. Just probably a fraction of a second later, when this engine would have been perhaps more side on and in that position, and that all clear, I think it would have been a stronger image, personally. Just the timing of the shot, I would have done slightly different. So I think, the author's fitted in, it's got space to come into, fair enough. But I just think to get more benefit from, the technology and the interest and the machinery on the engine and the human part, just a little later would have helped. So that one got 15.
15.
Are we having a break or what? Are we going straight through?
We usually have a break about 1:30-ish.
Because we're coming up to...
Coming up to 10 past. What are we on?
What are we on? 32. 33. Okay.
Spiral staircase. So
Spiral.
go on for a bit.
I can go on for a bit.
We know you can go on for a long time. Once you started, it's hard to shut you up, innit? Oops, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
No, you're all right, Mike. It applies to you as well.
We know that. Everybody knows that.
Right, another architectural shot. Yeah, I couldn't quite read it on my screen what that said. It's in Latin and I don't do Latin.
Ah, that's why.
Yeah, again, technically very good. Tonal range is good, sharpness all over. It's just a part of the staircase. We're not down at the bottom. The interest is in there, the architecture is good, the text is good. So that one got 16. I think it's a good example.
16. Barn owl at sundown.
Well, it's certainly warm, this picture, isn't it? It's a good picture of the barn owl in flight. The background, if it's actually the right colour, well, I'll be surprised whether it's been enhanced or not, I don't know. I was trying to envisage what kind of background would give me that shade of red or that shade of that kind of thing. It's the owl's been handled well, just a little lacking detail, but then that's normal. So yeah, good size in the frame. I have my reservations on the background, but I'll go with it, and it got 17.
17. Frozen.
Right, different genre altogether, completely different from all the others in this context. These frozen petals and the rest of it. I think it's been handled very well. It's very delicate. You get that feeling from it. Maybe a little more color saturation would have helped to lift it a little from the background. I don't know. But I thought as an example of that, I think it was a good example of its type, and it's the only one in of that genre. So I got 17.
17. Autumn collection.
Yeah, there's an awful lot going on in this picture. It's pretty sharp all over, and your eye starts to wander in, wander around. You tell me what you saw first, what you concentrated on. Anybody else for an answer? Sorry? The flower pot, yeah. And but is that offset by the fact you've got this thing here? It's the more interesting kind of looking into this kind of texture. I think I presume it's set up, and there's just too much in it, why overcomplicate the picture when it's a still life? Most things are in the control of the photographer in a still life. So before you press the shutter, just look. I think, we could do with a little, to me, to kind of emphasize this feel, just a little bit of softening, and maybe not have the two big objects that, you're looking from one to the other. So yeah, so I thought a little bit more control in the taking of the picture, and that would have helped. 14.
14. Anne and James Ritchie.
Oh, right, it does say it there, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first thought of this was, where was the photographer stood when this boat was coming in? Yeah, just got a big lens on the big long lens. Yeah, a good action shot. The boat, it's well caught. A lot of the kind of the rough sea you can pick up from this, and the boat scratching through it. And then what? It comes across then as a record shot of the boat. The lifeboat people would probably love it as a commercial type shot, but in here tonight, it only got 15 because it's
15.
not quite strong.
Norway, Northern Lights.
Right, yeah. Northern Lights. It's difficult to kind of shoot these. I've never actually done it myself, but I know a few of my friends have been, and they're always muttering about getting the exposure right. It's not as easy as it looks. But the setting is a little dismal, if you like it, but then so be it. You've got a, kind of green water leading in, reflecting the light. Is it kind of overbalanced to the left? Because that's quite a prominent rock, and this, there's not a lot in here. what would it say the photographer had moved around a little more to the left and got, you know, more of that in, less of that in, he would have still got the main kind of influx of the lights in the middle, which, you know, the exposure is difficult to handle. But, you know, I've seen quite a lot of northern lights. This is not as strong as some that I've seen where they've been caught, obviously a little better. So that one got 15.
15. Harvest mouse stretching.
Well, stretching is a word, isn't it? He's stretching the title a bit. It looks like he's having a great time. Bit cruel hanging a mouse on there, though, isn't it? Like that. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a, you know, a setup and it's been well handled. You know, do we need kind of all this on here? You've got the kind of shape of the picture there, bit of a diagonal. The mouse is sharp. Yeah, an interesting setup. I just wondered at one time, you know, what the background was. Has it been kind of overdone? Because obviously the mouse has been well lit, and the background is not quite, you know, it's just a little dark. So, what was the harvest mouse stretching? I think it's well worth 16 just for the fun of it.
16.
I'm gonna stop off the next one. It's 14.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to have a?
That's about halfway.
That's about halfway.
About halfway, that, isn't it?
You want to have a brew now?
Yeah.
Right. Well, we're going to have a quick break, folks.
Oh, disco time. Disco time.
Right. So if you want to have a comfort break and back in what, of an hour?
Yeah.
See you shortly. Right, ladies and gentlemen. If you like to get yourself comfortable, I'm just being polite. Let's turn you on. You want to squeak so where they can hear you?
Speak so they can hear me.
Oh, right, we can hear you. That's good. Excellent.
Yeah, you might be remembering you don't want to hear me with some of the marks coming up. You never know.
Right. Are we all sitting comfortably? If you can plunge us into dark, please.
Can hear you.
Right, let's move on.
I go from a flying mouse to a flying Vulcan.
Vulcan, yes.
Yeah. What were we up to? Where are we up to? The flying Vulcan. Yeah, I mean, it's a record shot of a Vulcan. It's one presumes it's one that's been resurrected and the photograph's not the Second World War or something like that. There is, I don't know whether the author's in it, but there is obviously, there's somewhere in Wales, isn't there, where you can get foot shots like this. And I just wondered whether, you know, whether the photographer's in a position to get it coming head on rather than going away from you. Because obviously there's more interest in that picture and it's quite fun to the plane. It's all timing of the shot and where you are. I mean, maybe the photographer didn't have any choice. Probably didn't hang around the plane for him to take a picture. So it's just that the back view is not as strong to me as the front view. So that one was not as strong as some of the others. Where am I up to? And that one got 14.
14. The Stalker.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a heron, but I could be wrong. You know, an interesting shot, isn't it? It's a nature shot, something slightly different. Got a, you know, a lot of left half's quite strong, the right half's quite weak, and the bird's stalking. So, you know, by the sheer title, obviously the author doesn't think it's a strong one, but yeah, it's the balance is quite good. You know, the composition is good. So that one got 15.
15. Red, white, and blue.
Yeah, the red arrows. Here we come again. I've seen lots of shots of the red arrows, but I must admit, I've never seen the time, and I know they do all sorts of formations. I've never seen this one before, and in a way, to me, it works quite well. Obviously, the planes are small. You can't get close to them, and they don't hang around. But I think, the balance of this pitch is quite good, that the colours are quite good. It tells the story, so it fits quite a lot of criteria, if you like. And that's 16.
16. Autumn.
Autumn. It's the same eyes, isn't it? We pull that one back.
Okay. 3 old masters.
Yeah, when this come up at home, I nearly fell off my seat. I thought, Christ, there's only one Mike Lawrence. Why do I need all these? We'll hold that one back.
Mort Hull.
Yeah, I've no idea where this is, but I think, to me, the kind of mono treatment works on this. You've got this strong contrast. You've got the softness of the water, and you've got the realized texture of the rocks. And, the content is good. The horizon's got high up in the screen, and I think it's quite, you're led into the picture and you can feel the waves, so the kind of emotions there, or the atmosphere's there. So yeah, I thought that was one of the stronger ones. So that got 17.
17. Sparrow in flight.
Yeah, just a little, obviously being caught as a takeoff, but it's just lacking, just a little bit of the detail there, which is very difficult, but the rest of it's quite strong. The top left-hand corner, you can't do anything about it. It's a bit light. You could have perhaps darkened it down if you want to, but it's content is good, the composition's good, the things. So that one got 17.
17. Gandalf.
Yeah, we'll hold that one back as well, Mike, please.
Spotted hyena.
He looks like he's got the sins of the world on him, doesn't he? The troubles of the world. He's really slouching along, isn't it? It's yeah, it's you don't get any of these in Wigan, so it's a good shot in terms of somebody on a safari taking the shot. Good size in the picture, shows the animal, shows the environment, colour tones good. So yeah, I thought it was a strong shot. But in terms of the end, in kind of holding it back for the group of winners that I'm doing, they'll have an extra edge on them. So that one got 17.
17. Immature common blue damselfly on meadow foxtail.
Yeah. I honestly thought when this was on my screen, it had been over sharpened a bit too much for me. It certainly is sharp. Classic kind of setup for this, the swallowtail, the flower and the bird. And in tonight's section, it's quite strong. The background's handled well. Whether it's been over sharpened or not, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. So that one got 17.
17. Girl with a pearl earring.
As opposed to a chess set, yeah. Yeah, it's. You probably remember there's one earlier we've held back, which is a similar type expression. The expression on this face is excellent. I like the softness of the portrait. The skin tones are good, color rendition. Yeah, I think strong portrait, but in the end, when I was looking through these and I was keeping them back, I find the ones that I am keeping back just had a little bit of stronger impact. So that one actually got down to 17.
17. Into the void.
Right, I had quite a fascinating 5 minutes with this. My eyes were all over the place. And I thought, what the hell am I looking at? Okay, you can see it eventually. Kind of, something's going up. I presume it's taken from underneath something, or it's been juxtaposition. But you know, what's the author trying to show me here? You know, what image am I seeing? You know, even now, I find it so complex, so complicated. Tonal range is quite good. You know, we've got real strong whites. They're all really strong, so they're quite dominant in the picture. You've got that recession going in, but at the end of the day, I just couldn't fathom it out in terms of what's holding me in that picture. What am I, you know, what am I looking at? So unfortunately, whilst it's a good kind of version of black and white, it only got 14. It's just not got the content that I can go with.
14. Steampunk.
Yeah, a very placid portrait of a steampunk. Every time I've taken one, they're always more agitated than this. He looks very calm and serene, doesn't he? It's
Because you must wind them up.
well, I probably do, yeah. Because I always ask for expressions. It looks like, you know, I mean, as a steampunk, and you've all done it in Oldham, I know, and I've done it. The attitude and the poses are always a bit more aggressive, a bit more, you know, strong. And this looks obviously like a studio setup, but it looks so calm and peaceful and casual, and it's not got, to me, you know, the kind of attitude or expression that a steampunk has. You know, we've got a little bit of shadow and quite a lot of, you know, the light balance. I'm not so sure it works. You know, if it's in the studio, then, you know, you're in control of the lights. Does it need to be lit so much? You know, look at the hands and that. I just feel, it doesn't feel right for me, this context of steampunk being so casual and serene and, you know, so calm looking. Perhaps it's just me. 15 for that.
15. Crashing out.
Now, there's a good example of some photographer getting the timing right, isn't it? It's quite a strong image. It's obviously a real quick reaction from the photographer. He's caught it. Because I wondered at one time whether, you know, do we need this on? You know, have we got a bit of room? Does that make a stronger picture? But then you can argue that no, that shows the, you know, the thing in context. So yeah, crashing out. He crashed out to 16.
16. Fountains Abbey.
Oh, right. Have everybody been here?
Yeah.
Yeah, and not done Fountains Abbey yet. Oh, dear me. This is a classic rendition of it. Been a good black and white, quite good tonal range, good architectural shot. You know, as Fountains Abbey goes, it's probably perfect. Because, you know, you can see the texture, you've got a little depth of field, and you got the end there. But then in this set tonight, a lot of the images have a lot more content than that. And whilst I agree, it's a very good rendition of Fountains Abbey. And I have got the similar ones, but I have never shown my pictures like that. Mine's always got a steampunk in them or something silly like that, you know, something to, or even a monk or something to put in. But as it goes, I'm not decrying that. You know, I think it's a difficult one to shoot, and I think that's been well handled. So that got 17.
17. Wren.
Yeah, this was one I mentioned earlier. Remember that other bird with lots of reel around it? I know wrens are small. And oh, hold it back. Let's have another look at that.
Okay. Low Warrior.
The Warrior. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate this, because the scene's set in The Warrior, but you know, this, as soon as the picture came up on my screen, I didn't see the face. I just thought, oh, you know, that white fire. And it's difficult. It's part and parcel of the picture, and it does give the nice light on the warrior's face. And I was wondering, you know, if I'd have taken that, what would I have done? Would I have toned that white down? Would I have made it so the warrior's a bit more prominent? I don't know. It's a difficult one for me, that because it is what it is, and that's, you know, that fits the scene. But it just felt, because I tried on mine, in fact, you know, getting rid of this and just looking at the portrait. because you got this deep warm color in the portrait, which you could get away with. It doesn't have to show the flame, in my opinion. So I just wonder, so it was around for a while, but it didn't make it to the last selection. So that one got 16.
16. Wings.
Yeah, wings. Paul McCartney's group then. Yeah, again, fairly straightforward shot from the back, which is not normally the best angle of these, but nevertheless, lots of background that's been seen sympathy. But the back view, you know, the interesting part of these animals is obviously the head and the front view. So a little bit technically it's okay, but it just lacking, you know, the impact, or like we've had a couple of damselflies earlier. It's just the back views kind of deadens it to me. So the wings got 15.
15. Norway landscape.
Yeah, interesting one in terms of the setup. You've got the atmosphere there, and you've got lots of, you know, the color contrast between whatever this is, whether it's been enhanced or not. But one thing to me, I think on this, when I saw it, the interest is all in the foreground there with the textures and the colors. Why kind of put the horizon in the middle? Let's put the horizon up there, get more feed in with a wide angle lens, and let this be the, you know, the dominant in the background. That was my thought when I was there. Because the top half or the top third, the sky's not that interesting. It captures the mood and captures the atmosphere, yes, but I didn't think you need all that. I think if you got this strong color, if it is correct, it doesn't really matter. Why not, you know, show more of that and kind of, you know, a lot of, over the years I've been judging, a lot of photographers tend to keep the horizon in the middle, and really when you're there, you should be looking whether, you know, the horizon low down or the horizon high up. If it's high up, you've more foreground. And if there's an interesting foreground, which there is there, I think it would have improved the shot. So that one got 16.
16. The clog maker.
Yeah, I studied this. I just wonder what the hell is this in a clog? You know, it's something I'm not quite certain. It took me a while. An interesting shop, very complicated, but then I should imagine a clog maker's workshop is very complicated, not all tidy. So yeah, it's it shows him at work in the context, good color tones through it. I mean, if you want to be critical, you can say this attracts a lot more attention immediately than that, obviously, but you know, this is part and parcel of the setup, so I accept that. There's enough room around it. So that one got 16.
16.
Oh, the next one you'll like.
Lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels.
Well, you got it? Yeah, so what do you think the photographer took this? He's connected with you all, hasn't he? Oh, see it? Yeah. An interesting, you know, technical exercise, some imagination on the photographer. I'm not sure if this is a roulette or a poker table or what, but you know, it's been I thought that was, you know, at least a little bit of imagination from the photographer. And I do like to see a lot of the photographer in the image, you know, the photographer's input, and of course there's quite a big input from the photographer in this. So that one got 17.
17. Mr. Alexander.
Yeah, straight portrait again, not necessarily looking at the photographer, but looking somewhere else. It's not got a lot, you know, the character, it's not as strong as, say, some of the other head and shoulders of the one we've got. It looks quite, you know, what word? I better be careful here. He's not in the audience, is he? No?
Maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit placid, the face. It, you know, to me, it's not enough expression in the face. Certainly, if I'm taking a portrait, I obviously like to liaise with the sitter and ask for some kind of expression, some kind of feeling, some kind of emotion. This looks very bland and straightforward to me. So it's not as strong as the other portrait. So he gets a mark less, he gets 16.
16. 7 rooks over the cows.
Over the what?
Over the cows.
Oh, whatever the cows is, that's Ring of Stones again, isn't it? Everybody counted the 7. No.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought the first thing everybody would do is put something in like that. Anyway, yeah, quite a strong light in this area, isn't it? And a dark in that area. You look into it, it does have a little bit of, whether the, with the birds, I've got that extra interest, but there is a little bit of an atmosphere to it. Whether it's a bit far-fetched or not, I don't know. I was just wondering, some of these, maybe they've been announced, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I thought that was, the format, the size, the letterbox style fixed it quite well. Tonal range is quite good. So 7 rooks. So if you give 2 marks for each rook, that's 14, and 2 for the landscape. So we'll give it 16.
16. Along the neb.
Yeah, wherever the neb is. I don't know, infrared, possibly. An interesting shot, but I found I was looking for something in the shot, looking for something to kind of help me in the picture. It's a pleasant enough shot of an area, but I'm finding that I've not got the interest in it. What am I being shown by the photographer? What does he want me to look at? And it's just like a pleasant setting. Does it need a person? Maybe, I don't know. But as it stands, it's just got that lacking that extra bit of content that I feel it needs. So where are we up to? 14.
14. Cot Valley Sunset. Again,
Similar to the previous one, seascape. We've got the horizon there. Do we need anything from there onwards? We got the sun in, but there's a lot more interest in there. I'd like to see a little more light on the rocks, and it being a lot more interesting foreground leading into the picture to the sunset. Like the top third or the top quarter doesn't add to the picture to me. You've got your red sky, but then it goes into this grayness, and you've got all the rocks in the foreground, which I'm not getting a lot of light on. So, there's just catching some in odd places. So maybe changing, slightly moving, making more of the texture in the rocks in the foreground would give, a more interesting picture. Oh, what was that? Sunset. 14.
14. Westminster Bridge.
Yeah. Black and white, good, reasonable tonal range in it. Pretty well, it does what it says on the tin. It's a good shot of the bridge, Big Ben, fortunately without any scaffolding. I did wonder what all these bits of white were, as to where them are coming from, I'm not quite certain. Yeah, but it's a good record shot. Bags of cloud interest. But at the end of the day, it's got kind of, it just looks as though it's a record shot. Nothing else drags me into the picture. I'm aware of the buildings and the Parliament and the Big Ben and the bridge. Yeah, it's all there. But then there's the interest wanes. So Westminster Bridge, where is it? Not 15.
15. Feeding Peregrine.
Yeah. Another one, which is, you like the look in the peregrine's eye. He's obviously just caught the fact that the photographer's about to take a picture. Good size, background been handled well. It's a setup, we know, but doesn't worry me. I know it worries some judges, but it doesn't bother me. The picture is there. Yeah, not a lot wrong with it, but it's only got 16. It doesn't come into the last.
16. Winter.
Is that the name or the scene? Certainly it's been No, we'll keep hold of that. Let's have another look at that. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Death at Colliford Lake.
Yeah, bit like that metal framework early on in terms of, you know, the softness of the picture, the exposure's been well handled to get the softness in the water. But then, you know, there's so much, I'm not quite sure the trees. No, it's not been the same one twice. No, it doesn't convey any more interest to me because it's so tight, top, bottom, and sides. There's no space around it, so we don't know, you know, if it's deserted or what. I think I'd like to see a little more room around it, a little more of the environment, a little more perhaps creating the atmosphere than just the pictures of these, what, half a dozen so branches, nothing going away. 14.
14. Jumpers.
Yeah. I can't think for 1 minute that they've come over this fence. You know, it's an intriguing shot, isn't it, to take them from? But it's a good one of the shot. I mean, it's very fortunate we've got this kind of, you know, triangular shape. You can just see the eyes on that, and that adds strength to the picture. So the timing of the shot's good. The background you're stuck with when you go to these events, it's never any good. And in this case, the fence is there, but it's not a prominent one. So that one got 17. I thought it was quite a strong shot, a photo, a sports shot.
17. Motocross.
Yeah, when this came on my screen, I thought, what's happened to the colours? It's like a, you know, I wasn't quite sure that this is right. I think it's just technically there's a few problems with it. The pose and the timing of the shot is as good as you can get, but I just thought the quality was poor. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, you tell me, but up to my eyes on my screen, it didn't look high quality at all. So the motocross only got 14.
14. Going in.
Yeah, another bird shot with lots of space around it. Lacking detail in the wings. It's a bit small in the frame. But there's space for it, but I just find it's not got a lot of interest after that. The darkness of the wings, the lack of detail. So, you know, I mean, it's the first time I've seen an eagle without a fish these days. Everybody has a fish. So that one got 14.
14. Send in the clowns.
Yeah, it's quite a strong portrait of this girl with a presumably a cheeky grin. And when I looked at it on my screen, I thought, do these two faces in the background, okay, we've got the same angle, are they actually overtaking the girl in the front? Are they too strong? Should they be a little softer? Because the portrait's quite good, you know, the skin tones are good, the expression, the eyes are good, but then all I'm seeing is these three. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and the background's quite strong. I think, to me, I know you can see what the author is, what he's getting at. We've got the angles right, but perhaps just subduing the colours a little on the back too would have given more prominence to the girl. Anyway, he got 17. I thought it was quite strong.
17. Island coup.
Yeah, fills the frame. You can't tell whether it's looking daggers at you or not, can you? It's about to charge. Yeah, I mean, it's a record shot of the cow. Doesn't show a lot of the environment. Does it show enough? Probably. But, you know, it's at the end of the day, that's the interest in the picture. And as you've seen from some of the other contexts, there's a lot more interest in other pictures. So good shot of the cow, good record shot. But it's only going to get 15.
15. Coin also Tigrina eating a
Yeah, go on.
pickpoon coloured fly or something like that.
Yeah, never heard of it. Again, it's strong shot. We got one earlier on, if you remember, a close-up of the two. Well, yeah, can't mention that word again, can I? Yeah, similar one. Just, but I don't think this is as strong. I just feel, you know, got a large black area there. I think we could probably got a little bit less on that, but I thought it was strong enough to get 16. But I just felt it's not quite as strong as the other one.
16.
You remember the other eye
Reflect to me.
jumper?
Yep.
Again, strength of the picture. I don't know what he's looking at, but he doesn't look very well pleased. But yeah, now this time the background is totally different, isn't it? But yet the action's still the same. The time in the shot's still the same. So between the two of them, I don't think there's much difference, because basically in these kind of shots, you have to, you know, let the background deal with whatever you can. This is what you're interested in, and this has been really well captured. So the other one got 17, so this one gets 17.
17.
Right, now we should have 11.
Right.
These I felt were the strongest.
Would you like to see them all on the screen?
Yeah, put them on as a contact sheet or something, please. Right.
Sure.
Right, so now you can all agree or disagree or pick your own. I don't really care. These were the strongest ones that I felt tonight, and there's quite a range in them, isn't there? There's, you know, you've got your 3 natural history, portraits, sport, creative, one landscape. So, do you want to win or just?
The best, or what you think is your favorite, would be nice, but other than that, just give us, you know, some 20s, 19s and 18s, or not, as the case may be.
Right, okay. Well, I've not made any marks of them. I'll just have a look at them, what I've got in here. Right, okay. If you have to pick my favorite, I'm struggling. Anyway, let's put the clubs out of the misery and give them the marks, because I don't know the scores, but there might be some agitated people out there. Right, we'll start with the 18s, and the first 18 would be this one, the fishing huts. Yeah, as I say, I've seen that many times in different exhibitions and worldwide exhibitions, different lighting, but it just seemed a good place to go.
But on these last few, do we want to see who the clubs and stuff is?
Me? I'm
We
not
don't
bothered.
care about you.
I know,
You're
I'm not
just
bothered.
telling us what the scores are.
Right, okay.
Right, okay. Well, we've got 18, and let's have a see. That one is Lara Howe from the Isle of Man.
Very good. Right, and the next one is number 27, the rugby action. I guess 18. I think that's quite strong. It's done well in this, and you can do this if you go to a kind of an amateur game. The background, there's nothing intruding in this. You know, it's choice of two worlds. I mean, I've shot at full matches where there's been a full stand behind me. That helps. You can blur it in, but I've also done local rugby clubs, and you try to choose an angle where it is. But I think the tonal range in that, the expressions are good. You can feel the tension in the players there. So that one would get 18.
Right, and that's St Anne's versus Preston, and that is Andrew Wilson from Oldham.
Right, I think we'll have another 18. Yeah, let's have Gandalf. Yeah, obviously a concocted shot, but excellently done. Proportions good, tonal range good. Yeah, 18.
That's Gandalf, and that's Sander Walker from Oldham.
Right, let's have a look what we've got now. I think we can go on to 19s now, can't we? Right, 19s. So first 19 is the nature shot, I think. This one. Yeah, it's a good
Mating
macro
flash
shot. Mating flash flies. You know, having done macro, there's not a lot that's wrong with it. It's sharp and it's an interesting shot. So yeah, that's 19. Not going to get the top mark, but it's going to get 19.
That's Jill Retz from Oldham.
Oh, this is getting annoying, isn't it? Come in.
Annoying.
Right. 19s. Let's go to autumn. Great. I like the color tonal range in this, and the look is brilliant. I just find it's a little tight for me, quite frankly. We got space here, but we just got a little more room there. Might have helped it. But in terms of that, I mean, that's really nitpicking that, honestly. It's a strong portrait, so that's going to get 19.
19. And that's Eddie Leach from Oldham.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I change that? I better do with Eddie's. I changed it. No, it's overmarked if it's Eddie's. Nice one, Eddie. Right. What's the other one? It was on 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's getting tight now, isn't it? It's getting very tight. Right, let's have number 18, the Warrior Princess. Again, it's that look. I'm beginning to recognize these eyes now quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot wrong, well, not much wrong with it at all. You know, the setting's been done together well. Personally, and this is only a personal note, I think I'd have liked the lady just a little more subdued. It's quite bright and the background's quite dark, so you've got to balance this up. Tells the story. You know, we've got the combination. I mean, years ago when Photoshop came and people started putting big heads in pictures, they weren't thinking about the whole context. Nowadays, obviously, there's got to be some, to me, there's got to be some connection between the model and the background to make it stronger. And that one does work in that respect. So that's the Warrior Princess gets 19.
19. And that's Christine Whittle from Oldham.
What have we got left? Right. Done. Oh, we're getting close to the top now, aren't we? I'll let you look at them for a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is when it becomes difficult now. Well, in this selection of 75 tonight, we've got down to 5, which I think are by far the strongest. You know, the homage to Vermeer is fantastic in terms of, again, this loop with the eyes, but the connection with the background. The eyes on dinner, I think, is a good action shot of the fox, and it's, you know, the background fits well, it's good color. Whether or not 3 Mike Lawrence's is a good one, I don't know, but is it?
3 of these got to be good.
Yeah, I suppose one of you is bad enough, but 3 of you has got to be good, hasn't it? And the wren, the wren I thought was different in terms of, you know, the wren's a small bird. There's a lot of space around that, but it's got as well as being a nature shot, to me, it's got a kind of strong pictorial aesthetic appeal to it, you know. So I thought, you know, it's an open competition. So I thought, yeah, that hangs well. And winter with that look. So I tell you what, give them all 20.
Oh, 20, right. But while I'm doing that, are you going to think of which is your favourite?
Yeah, it's got to be one of them, and I don't know which. So you keep going.
Why did that not do? There we go. What did then?
Can you just show them all at large? And I'll,
I can certainly have a go and see what happens.
yeah, as I said, that is, you know, the pose, the background is very good. Okay. I find that really interesting one, a different one. I see so many foxes, but that one licking his lips. He's obviously seen something. Good colour tone. Okay. How come one's got an empty glass?
Because he sucked it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's quite strong. It's different, isn't it? It's starting to be more pictorial. Okay, let's look at the last one. Right, if I had to have a favorite one, we'll go for that one.
That one?
Yeah.
Well, that one is Christine Weddell's from Oldham.
Oh dear me, I got that wrong, didn't I?
Right. Well,
So you tell us who the other four are now then.
oh, the others, let me have a see, because I'm not Oldham anymore, so I need to find on here.
You know, go back to the light box, the last one.
No.
Okay,
Oh, I can now. There we go.
right. So I can guess
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Right. That one. This works. That one's mine. From Oldham. Eyes on Dinner is Sean Mooney's from Oldham.
Oh dear me.
Three Old Bat Masters is Christine's.
How do you manage three of them at once, Christine?
With difficulty.
Yeah, I could imagine so too.
The Wren is Pat Noon's
Yeah. Oh, good.
from Oldham.
We know it's that one, is yeah.
And that one will be Christine's. Right. Okay. Do we want to know the scores or do we just want to go home? Right. Let's just shut that bit down, have that up there, and I'm going to hit the score button. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. There it goes. Nothing happened. Try again. Not a sausage happened. Okay, let's. It's oh, very good. It's crashed on there.
I hope you've recorded the scores.
Let's just. Okay, I might do something now. Yay! There we go. Well.
Right, there we go.
So. Lots of good images tonight.
So Rochdale, what, 381?
So Rochdale and District got 381. IoMPS got 391. And just in front, IoMPS with 442.
Oh, dear me.
Done, David.
Well, I've only done it so I can get out of the club, aren't I, without being wrong.
Right.
Well, no, let's be honest. There's There was a lot of good images there. I mean, when I looked at them at home, I tend to look at 75 images, and you see, I look at them all, and I think, what's the standard of this competition? And it was quite high. And you can argue by looking at my marks that the standard was about 16, 16 and a half, 17. Now, the ones that got 13 or 14 or 15, don't get too upset. You know, it's because in that context, they had slightly less going for them. And then the ones that got 18 to 20, I thought were really strong. So, you know, when you're looking at them, you try to look at that set of images, that balance. What's the standard of that? You could probably put the ones that got 14 and 15 in another competition and they'd score more. It all depends what they're up against. And unfortunately, there were some strong ones there. And I suppose when I'll tell you now that you know you're here, if I'm judging images, I use an acronym called DIE, images to die for. Right? D stands for design. In other words, the composition, the design, the technical aspect, if you like. I is for information. Does it tell a story? Does it feed something to me? And E is emotion. So if you get a picture, in my mind, it fits all those three, it's a strong image. That's just something I've worked over the years. You can throw it out the window, please yourself. So I call it images to die for. And that's when I'm looking, that's what I'm looking for. So we've got a bit of time. If you want to hit me with any questions and any images, do it now, and I'm happy to see what we can do. I'm quite happy to be exposed to all your comments. You know, I mean, no, this is the whole idea, isn't it? I mean, what you've seen tonight is me looking at all those images and how I see them. You might see them differently. I know Chris does. So, you know, feel free. Any questions you want? I'm happy to, no. Don't tell me you're all satisfied. That can't be true.
We're very satisfied.
I know all of them are, yeah. Unfortunately, Isle Man and Rochdale can't ask any questions. But so anybody, you know, seriously, I'm not joking. I mean, I'm quite happy to, you know, it's only 9:15. We'll chat for 10 minutes.
Anyone on the interweb that wants to ask any questions? We have a few there. Just unmute yourself and ask away.
You were rubbish.
That wouldn't be smutty by any chance, would it?
Well, nobody else was saying anything. I was marking the same as you, David, so that's good. That's pretty good. I got your level.
Who's that?
John Smith.
Oh, no. Oh, no. What's it like in North Wales?
Well, it's nice today, but I had to do a talk in Warrington on Tuesday, and it was awful. I struggled up in the weather and struggled back in the weather.
Well, that's okay. As long as you're back in Wales, I'm not bothered.
Thank you, David.
It's a pleasure, John. Pleasure.
Right.
Anyway, so there you have it. Now you know what I look for. Sorry, die. Images to die for. Can you spell die?
Yes.
Tell me. No, 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 no. If you look, that's I don't know why it's done. I know. I'm telling you. Design, which is basically the technical aspect of an image, you know, the composition, the sharpness, all the technical aspects, which most images should have some of. Right. I is information, they call it. In other words, is it telling a story? Does it relate, like you know, some of the pictures, like the Vermeer one, related to background, foreground, so it's got information. And emotion is E. Now, if you can get all three, then to me, it's a strong picture. Emotion is the hardest one to kind of show in a picture, I think. I don't know if Chris agrees or not, but, you know, it's difficult to get emotion. Some of them did have emotion. Some of the portraits did have a little bit of an emotion, you know, so, because to me, an image comprises technical aspect and the aesthetics, or whatever you want to call it, but it's not 50-50. You know, you can have, like, all nature shots, for instance, are virtually 95% technically correct, but they don't have the pictorial aesthetic appeal, where that Wren did have some of that more than the others. But, you know, nature shots really are all technical. You've got to be technically correct. Otherwise, you know, it's not really, you know, gets kicked out at most things because it's a record of the nature. Now, things like, can't think of one there, that there's a lot of the others were, they say not 50-50 technical. I mean, you do get a lot of pictures that probably have technical weaknesses, maybe only about 10% technically correct, but the emotion and the aesthetics and the pictorialism is so strong, it could be better, and it could, you know, you could balance the picture. That's
Selling the story.
yeah, that's it, yeah. You know, but it might have a few technical imperfections. Well, to me, you've got to look at the image because, again, I can't remember the photographer, but the quote I've worked from for a long time, which was told to me by Arthur Downs,
My mentor.
my mentor as well. We were lucky, Chris and I, we had a great mentor.
Yeah.
And the saying goes, it's not what you look at, it's what you see. Right, and think of that in its terms. Right, I can look at images, but what am I seeing?
Is that as a viewer or as a photographer? Does it
Both.
apply to
Both, yeah. Because of the other one, like there's two pictures, two people in every picture.
Yeah.
So the photographer's looking and seeing something and he transfers that to you and you're looking and seeing the same thing, then whoa, you're on the same wavelength, aren't it? But for me, I mean, that's what it is. It's not what you look at, it's what you see. People look at images, but they don't see them. And that's, to me, how long have I been judging Chris too long, is, you know, looking into an image. What do I see in it? I know you'd say, I knew you'd say that, yeah.
5 years after.
Oh, well, yeah, I've been longer than that, haven't I? Yeah. So, you know, that's my kind of philosophy. To me, photography is enjoyment. So that's, you know, I mean, I've been judging a long time, you know, and that is over the years. It's, you know, it's, you look at a picture, but what do you see in it? You know, you can look at it, but what do you see in it? And I go back to my little 3 symbols, 3 letters. And that puts it all together. Whether you agree, a lot of judges don't do it that way, do they? It's,
Makes perfect sense.
you know, I mean, that's my outlook on it, and that's, I should keep going. I mean, I do see a lot of images. I mean, I judged BPE just end of last year, and I saw 6,000 images.
In a small amount of time.
Well, it was over 2 or 3 days, but you know, that was just one weekend. You know, and you do get to see a lot. And the thing is, when you're judging an exhibition, you only see the winners.
Yeah.
You don't see what I see judging all the ones that didn't win. And you know, you can see, I mean, I enter exhibitions worldwide. And when I get the catalogue, I have a great time because I can see what other photographers around the world are doing with subjects that, I mean, there's nothing really that's never been photographed before. Nobody come up with something that's the very first photograph of it. So, you know, it's just a case of how these other photographers interpret it.
How do you get an emotion for that 2 or 3 seconds? Then if you're judging 2,000 pictures in 2 hours.
Well, it's apparent. It's, I say,
It's like instant.
yeah, it's not what I'm looking at, it's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Like the eyes in a lot of the pictures, like Brianna's eyes, you know, something like that kind of gives you that emotional feel immediately. Look at that chess one.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I, when I saw that was boom, straight into her eyes. Yeah. And that was, it's just that using f4 is not the right one. You should need a bigger aperture, a bigger depth of field. But that's my interpretation. You know, so it's, having seen a lot, you see it very quickly. It's what am I seeing in a photograph very quickly, you know. And eyes are an obvious one to convey emotion, aren't they?
Yeah.
So something that grabs your attention, basically.
Yeah, impact does happen. That comes in, you know, not necessarily the emotion side, but you know, impact in a picture. I mean, as Chris will tell you, when you're judging exhibitions, the button's being pressed within maybe 5 or 6 seconds. So a picture comes up, and you know, for exhibitions, it's got to have some kind of impact.
Got to jump out.
Well, not jump out possibly, but it's got to have some kind of impact, because if you've got a few thousand images and they're all competing against each other, you're looking for your image that when it comes up, the judges go, oh yeah, you know, what am I seeing? What am I seeing? Wow factor, if you want to call it that. But it doesn't have to have wow factor to win, you know, but it does help in exhibition type. In club photography, it's not as critical because you've got more time to look at the pictures.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Making an impact in a short amount of time with the salons and stuff.
Yeah, well, it has to be, because when you enter an exhibition, you've probably got you're lucky if you've got as little as 2,000 images against you. You know, I mean, most of the exhibitions these days have that kind of figure, don't they? So if you want yours to come up with an award or something, then it's got to have that little edge, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a few on here tonight that do very well in exhibitions, as you know.
Yeah.
All the last ones, the last 5 or even the last 10 I chose are strong exhibition pictures.
Yeah.
And if you can remember them, you can see what each one had as a, you know, what was the strength of that picture, because they're all different genres,
Yeah.
you know, from
I
the
don't think
landscape.
anybody would disagree with what you ended up with either, really.
Well, that's the way it goes, isn't it?
Which is probably why not a lot of people had any questions for it. because you pretty much asked it, so.
Wow, what an accolade, eh? What an accolade, eh? Somebody agrees with me, I got it right. Hey!
That makes a change.
It does, Mike, it does, yeah. Anyway, anybody while I'm on? Because you're up 5 minutes. Ooh, what a sound. Right,
Right.
right.
Well, thank you very much for tonight. I'm going to frighten you all by pointing at me. It's been another excellent evening tonight, and I think Dave has shown his skills, his prowess at picking images. Well experienced judge. And not everybody can win, but we won.
Don't rub it in.
I won't rub it in, no, but we did. And no, thank you so much for entering, because if you didn't enter, then we wouldn't have a competition. So, you know, we've all got to put in all our stuff, and not everything wins, but they're all worth watching. They're all worth looking at. And I've really enjoyed looking at all these images tonight. So thank you, everybody. And a huge thank you to Dave. So can we please put our hands together and give him a big round of applause? So, right, you're sick of hearing me now. So I'm going to say, have a safe journey home, if you're already home, a safe journey upstairs. And we'll see you soon. Next week, we have